All right, welcome to the third part of this coding along for the interactive story path. We are going to be updating the state. So first of all, we are going to be updating the name, the email, and we're going to keep that in the state because of course, if I type this email and then full name is Mike, this is not going anywhere. We have not hooked up anything to send answer. We have not done anything with events or any of that matter. So for now, we are going to be doing this in the exercise component. For now, we're going to be using the just regular event handlers in here. So we're starting with the full name and the input group. Now, we need a place to store them. So first of all, we're going to be using the state again. So again, import useState here. Remember, we used the state in the info page component, but we have not used it here. Again, this is stored locally. So the info page does not know what the exercise is holding and vice versa, unless you pass it along through props. So again, I'm going to be const, let's say not exercise, but as you can see, if I type one thing, let's call it username. Et voila, that's one. And it already suggests that we need to have an email. Perfect. I love my AI Copilot. Again, I'm using Copilot because I know how React works. This is not recommended for beginners because they are relying too much on completed code that they do not understand yet. I have written this multiple times, so I'm allowed. We have the username and of course the function, the email, the function, and then useState. They are defaulted with nothing at the moment. So we have multiple things we can do here. We can do an on-click variant on the button and then send it up and then create a method that or a function that sets the username and the email. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do two pieces in this video. We're going to be updating the input fields as the people are typing them in, which is the most efficient one for that. And we are going to be updating our answers once they conclude their answers. So the moment A or B is selected and there is an answer, and we click on send answer, then we're going to locate or at least save the answer in a different state. You know what? Create a different one. It's like it's listening to me and suggesting what the answer is. So perfect. We have our stop suggesting me things. Okay, I'm gonna stand here before my AI goes really wild. We have our answer. So the answer will be concluding A and the feedback and email and full name. So the cool thing about it, so form control here, that's our input field. Now, if you've not used Bootstrap or react-bootstrap in this case, you have your regular input fields. We remember from HTML that they have events that are throwing up. So for example, a change event. Every time the value changes in this input field, we want to update the state. That's a very easy way to maintain our data as fast as possible. So again, how do we do that? We have our onChange. We are basically going back to the old ways of using the the events on the HTML tags, which was frowned upon for later when we have our full JavaScript files attached to it. Well, now we're going back to it, which is basically cheating because we are writing JavaScript or JSX in this case. So as you can see, it has auto-completed, which I would have typed myself anyway. But again, onChange, which means once this changes, the variable that you get, which is again the DOM element, and you might recognize this target value, which is something you almost always use for at event listener in the regular DOM, and it gives you back the element to which the event has triggered on. So in this case, we are calling immediately the set email function, which is provided here in the state, and we are passing along the current value of the email. Now, how are we to check that? First of all, I'm going to do it the same for name. Et voila. And I am going to open the components here to check on the state. components. We are not on the info page. We are on the exercise. As you can see, there are 3 hooks here. These do not always reflect. So there's a magic wand here, which you can generate the actual values here. So let's say I start to type my email. See it update in the bottom? Number 2, mike@ehb.be. So each time I type, it updates. And of course, if I type my full name, even if I go back, it's updated again. So this is a very efficient way of updating your state a la carte or immediately, basically. So that's our first use of state and events on that input field. The second one is going to be when we are actually creating a new function on it. So let's say we have our button variant. Here, let me check, we can also do an on-click event. So on-click. Let's call it submit answer. Let's start with that. Submit answer is a function. Look at this as an add event listener. So let's scroll up before the return. And as you can see, it already suggests it. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Come on, AI, go home, AI. You're drunk. So submit answer. Let's see if it works, first of all. Trigger. The AI is trying to be funny. Okay, let's go. Let's see if in my console there is instead got a value. No, I think that's wrong. You're wrong, React. You are wrong. Let's send an answer. Triggered. Multiple times. Okay, perfect. Now, what we actually want to submit is have this available to us. Like have the data of A, B, here, the radio buttons, and the text area available. Now, there are multiple ways to do this. You can either use the hook useRef to keep the references of it, and then we don't have to pass along data, or you can pass along data in here. So the way you do that, because you know as well for add event listener, if you put in brackets, let's say Mike, if you refresh this, refresh. I think it's broken because triggered. Yeah, it's broken because this immediately executes the function. This does not work as it should be, as in if I click on it, then you need to execute the function. So how do we fix that? We wrap it in an anonymous function. Voila. Yeah, well, Mike is passed along. So let's say we have a name here as well. And yeah, okay. Name. And if we click on the button, triggered name Mike. Perfect. That's how you pass along in values. That's one way of doing it. Now, what we are going to be doing, we're going to be using, for the sake of learning, we are going to be using the reference value, or use ref, basically, to make sure we get that value the moment you click on it. Let's try and see how we implement useRef. So to use useRef, we can import it, ref on the top, and we're going to be referencing the the text area. So again, if I want to use a reference to my element, we can do const input text area ref, text area reference, and that is a useRef. In the beginning is null, but we are going to be referencing this on the element itself. So we're going to scroll down. The form control here is my text area. Again, because I'm using react-bootstrap. The ref is text area ref. So now, whenever I want, so in a function, for example, the moment I click on the button, I can use the reference to get the value from this element. Or if it's not filled in, I can call focus on it, for example. So let's say what was our function again? Submit answer. So let's say if it's empty, then we want to call focus on it. So submit answered. Let's remove that trigger. Let's remove the name. You can console log the value text area. So the reference is always going to be the current one, and then of course when we need is basically the change for target. It's current, and then we need the value. So let's see what it does if we open our console here. Console. I'm gonna refresh. Okay. Empty. Mike. Send answer. Okay, so we are getting the value. Good. But what we also can do is call every DOM element on it. So let's say if this is empty, we want to set the focus on it. If text area, let's exclamation mark. Let's do text area ref dot current dot focus. God, I love my AI. Refresh. Let's, yes, A, B. I don't need an answer. Send answer. And you can see, and it pops into focus. You might not see it very well. I'll do it one more time. This goes from just regular look and feel to blue. Again, nothing is focused right now. Let's say I have my focus on here. You see, it turns blue. That's the react-bootstrap one. Send answer, goes to focus. So this is some way of actually using the reference. As you can see, we have the answer, and now we can set the actual answer. So the answer is a let's say new answer. Let's make this an empty array. The new answer is choice, which will be the radio button one. Let's do that in a second. And the answer is text area current value ref. Perfect. The username. Yeah, I want the username, of course, because the person who filled it in, you see the AI is smarter than me. So we have our new answer, and then we want to set it. Now we want an we can hold an array, or we can want a single answer. Let's call it a single answer. So again, set answer, new answer. Now we have it. Perfect. So this is how we do the events at the bottom. So again, the radio button, one small thing. Again, a radio button, if there's a div around it, of course, or a grouping, you can do the onChange there. So the moment the radio button changes, you update the value. You can also work with a reference. It's basically up to you for now. So onChanged, let me check. We will create, let's make it a choice. Set choice. Use state in the beginning. It's going to be A, but that's going to change, of course. Here, where is it? Set choice, and then E. Wait. Here, give me a second. onChange. This is what I want. The E, of course, first. And voila. Let us check if everything is done. Let's call it an email. Mike at EHB. Mike. we are going to go for, let's say B, so to make sure that the change works. This is obviously false, but still. Send answer. Nothing happens for now, which is correct. And we can go to components. We should see in the state if there is a new entry. Now, give me some time to. So state answer, there's an answer. So our choice did not take, of course, because it's empty, if I'm not mistaken. We did not fill it in. This is obviously false is correct. We have the username, we have the email, and that's perfect. So the choice we need to update here with choice. Let's refresh and do it one last time. We're gonna go for B, and your answer is okay. Send answer. See what it does. Here. So we need, we are passing along a whole element in there. So again, I was lazy. It's not E, it's E.target. I assume it's ID because it's the ID here. Again, this takes some getting used to, but the state here, let's see if it changes if I change this. B, A. As you can see, state, A, B. So this is gonna work. Good, we have a couple of, we learned how to use in this video, we used the state, we used references, we used events to call upon it, and do some more trickery. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we will be finishing the application and by using the use effect. So the last hook that we're going to be using for now, that hook is going to allow us to communicate with external parties. Now we are going to be using a local service to try it out. But the use effect has some very powerful ways of working. For example, that's the place where you place your fetch requests to get data from a different place or to store some data through a post request. So thank you for your attention. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.